Hello everyone, welcome to bispsolutions.com. My name is Sumit and I'm a data analyst in Python with bispsolutions.com. And in today's video, I'm going to demonstrate you that how can we integrate Python with Accuweather.com to get the 5 days weather forecasting. So the idea behind doing this is to invoke the Accuweather API to get the the forecast weather for upcoming 5 days, and to display the record, to display the data in a tabular manner or in a simply printed out, and further on we can visualize that data using various charts within Python. So this helps us in analyzing the upcoming weather, and it helps the decision makers to take decisions according to that. So first of all, very first thing, to move on to this, we need to have an AccuWeather developers account. So let me show you how to create an AccuWeather developers account, how to register onto it, and how to get the URL or API, how to create a new API in AccuWeather. So this is my website accuweather.com, and here as you can see, I'm getting the current temperature weather for Delhi region. So we can go for weekend, we have extended month, or we have various options. So we can see hourly as well, and we can drill down and we can see the weather for other locations. Now my idea behind is to get the current updates, current information about the weather for Delhi, including today's date as well as upcoming 5 days. So as you can see, today is tonight, tomorrow, and we have for next upcoming 5 days. So I can say next 5 days. So today, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday till June 6th, and the temperature is in this form. Now, very first thing we have to do is you need to visit this website link https developer.accuweather.com. When you visit this accuweather.developers.accuweather.com, you need to register onto it, because I have already registered. So let me log in into my account, and I'm using my credentials to log in. And because we are using trial version, so we have some limitations. And what are the limitations? Let me tell you about it. Because it's a trial version, so we can only query uh, we can send only 50 queries from our Python program. So we only 50 calls per day, and the limit will be per key, one key per developer. So I'm okay with that, because I'm doing it only for my sake of use. So I would be going to use only one key. Now, the very first thing, we need to create a new app. So click on API references. Then we'll be getting an option My Apps. So click on My Apps. Then we can add a new app. So because it's a trial version, so maybe it won't allow me to create a new app. So what I can do is I'll go to My Apps and delete the existing app. So we can create a new app by clicking on. So in your case, you would be doing it very first time. So simple click on My Apps and fill up your details. And once you complete your details, so you can fill up your details like app name, limited trial, and where will this API will be used. So I'm using this on my desktop or desktop website or mobile app. So I'll choose other. And what will we going to create this API? I'll go for weather API, and programming language, I would be using Python for that, and rest I'll leave it as it is and click on create app. And once we will finish it up, an app will be created including API key, and this key was issued on this particular date at this time. So that's my API key. So don't try to use this API key, because I would be going to delete this API key after this demonstration. So I'll copy this API key and we can keep it at safe place. Next, we would be requiring the URL. So right click on API references, and we would be requiring the location API first of all. So location API and forecast API. So for location API, we are requiring location for Delhi region. So I'll go for city search narrowed by country code, and this search will give us the city code, basically city code, or you can say this gives us the city key, or it provides us the location key, and that location key we will be using in our Python. So I would be here, the API key is required, so I'll just copy my API key, and I'm looking for Delhi detail is equal to true, and click on send this request. So when we click on send this request, we got the response, and the response is 200 OK, and we scroll down and the key is 202396. So that's the location key for Delhi. And if we scroll down more, we can see, you can see the response is in JSON, and we have some responses error details which you can verify if you are getting any error. So what's the HTTP code or error code, and why the error is coming. So this will help you to resolve your errors if any error occur. So I got this location key, and now I'm using this location key for getting the weather forecast. So I want a 5 days of Delhi forecast. So I'll switch to 5 days Delhi forecast, and the location key which I have copied, we would be using this location key to paste it in the URL for testing. And as you can see, the location key 202396, because I copied there, so it automatically appears. Now it will be requiring the API key, so I again copy the API key and paste it, and let's detail I set as true and click on send this request. So we got the response, HTTP 200 OK, the response is successful, and we get the daily forecast for today's date for next 5 days. So this forecast is for upcoming 5 days. That's for day 1, that's for day 2, that's for tomorrow's, and so on. So like this, so same kind of functionality we are going to implement with Python, only we'll be using the URL, and we would be passing the API and the location. So what we are going to do is, first of all, let's write a script, and let's create a new IDLE shell, create a new script, and the very first thing I would be going to import JSON, because the response we would be getting in JSON. I would be importing time as well, and import to read the response, to send the request and read the response from URL. We would be using a directory called url lib dot request. First of all, I create a variable as API key, and this API key holds the API key which we received from our app. Then I would be writing here country code is equal to in, city is equal to, I'm getting city input from user input, city name, and whatever, let's test this much. So Accuweather app, and it's asking for city name. I write Delhi, and the response is stored into city. So we can just test it, print city, and I just Delhi. So you can see the city, the input which we provided, it's stored into Delhi. Now in next step, let me remove this one, and we would be getting the key. So I create a new variable as key. I'm creating functions, and I would be creating 2 functions. First function is to get the location, and another function is to get the forecast. So I create one function, get location, and I would be passing here country code comma city, country code comma city. So and search underscore address is equal to, I'll copy the URL while we'll be searching this. So I'll click on curl, and I copy this URL, the complete set of URL. I'll just copy this, and the protocol is get protocol. So I copy this URL, and we need to do some customization, because cities, whatever city we pass here, so this would be city. Yeah, so it would be cities plus country code, that is for in. So instead of in, that would be country code. So here I write double quotes plus double quotes, and instead of this, country code. So if we by default it's for I set the country code and India, so we can customize it more, we can make it more dynamic and get the country code from we can let user to input country code as well. Search API key is fine. And for Delhi, instead of Delhi, I wanted to make it dynamic again, so plus Delhi plus and plus, and instead of Delhi it should be city. We can test the search address. We can print search underscore address, and to invoke this function I write get location, and I would be passing country code comma city. Let's test it. And okay. So make sure that the text would be in proper indentation and in proper format. So city name Delhi, and URL is data service Accuweather in and Delhi. So the URL is perfect. Now we need to invoke, using this URL, we need to invoke the uh, location. So URL lib dot request dot URL open search underscore address as uh, search underscore address, and the response would be in JSON form. So I write JSON dot loads search address dot read dot decode, and we got the location key. So I would be extracting the location key from the response. So the data which we receive, that would be in a JSON form, and from there we need to get the location key. We need to extract the location key. So let's test this much. So I'll just write print data, and I'm looking for Delhi. Search address is not defined. Search ADDRESS. So that's why I prefer to copy and paste it so that there would be no errors. So I test it, and you can see we got the response, and we are getting the key is 202396. That was the key for Delhi region. So we would be, I store this location key in a variable called location underscore key is equal to data 0 and key. Key should be capital, and I would be returning the location key, because this location key we would pass into next function. So I'll write location underscore key, and in order to test this, so because this would be returning, so I'll capture this location in a key. We would be requiring key, so I write key is equal to get location, and we would be getting the location key. Now next I'm going to create one more function to display the current forecast. So I create a new function called get forecast, and here it requires location key. So I'll create a URL Delhi forecast URL is equal to, so we'll be requiring the URL for Delhi forecasting, and that's a Delhi forecast for 5 days forecast, including the API, including the key. So I'll just we scroll down to curl, and we would be requiring the URL. So I'll just copy the URL from here and paste it in double quotes. So Delhi day plus this key will be the key we received. That's the key we received here. So that location key will be, so static will be replaced with a dynamic one, and remaining will remain same. And I copy the same one because we would be reading the data. We will be running off, so while URL and Delhi forecast URL as Delhi forecast URL, Delhi forecast URL dot read, and here now I need to run a loop. So if I simple print and make sure that the data would be proper indented, and now if I'm running print data, so let's test it. Sorry, I forgot to invoke this function. To invoke this function, get forecast key, get forecast key. Let's test it out, and I'll pass Delhi. You can see the data is there. So here, because we are not printing key, so this is for the upcoming, this is for current date and for upcoming 5 days. So what I'm doing is I'll just copy the whole content and I'll open this in Notepad++. So I'll just open this in Notepad++ and format as JSON format. So here we can see the Delhi forecast for current date. So as you can see, we are getting the sun information, rise and set, moon information, temperature. So that's the current temperature. This temperature is in Fahrenheit. So, and this is because the temperature I'm getting here, this temperature is in, so we can convert this, we can change the temperature is in centigrade, Celsius as well. So that's in Fahrenheit maximum, minimum, and we have real field temperature, real field, maximum field. So if any one of you are looking for Fahrenheit, you can go for same. So that will show in Fahrenheit. If you want to show it in centigrade, so we can test it with using centigrade. So for that we have to perform additional task. So that's for date. So we have so like in this case we will get the forecast for next 5 days. So that's for third day. So let me collapse it because we don't have option for collapsing right now. So I'm doing it manually, and I just wanted to show you the data for upcoming 5. You can see we got the forecast for upcoming 5 days for 2nd of June, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th June. Now let's get back to a code and finish it up. And here I'm going to print the, instead of printing data, I want to display the forecasted data in the Python. So I just run a for loop for key1 in data, because here in this case we have daily forecast as a dictionary. So I'll just write here data1 single quotes, and I'll just copy paste the name daily forecast, and I would be printing the date first. So weather forecast for plus key1 date. I wanted to show the minimum temperature. So when we expand it, we have a minimum temperature and maximum temperature. So I want to print the maximum temperature is 87.0 Fahrenheit and 108.0 Fahrenheit. So that I wanted to show here. So I write minimum is equal to, and sorry, I just write print minimum temperature in Fahrenheit, minimum temperature in Fahrenheit plus key1, because here the temperature is in date and temperature is in minimum, so it should be temperature, minimum and then value. So I just write key1 temperature, I just copy temperature. So we need to be very careful for these structure and value, and it's a case sensitive, so be very careful about the case sensitivity. And this key one is by default it's in a float, so I'm just performing a typecasting and displaying in a str. So I did this for minimum temperature, same thing I'm doing it for maximum. So I'll just write here max temperature in Fahrenheit, temperature, maximum and value. So instead of minimum, I use maximum. And along with that, I wanted to show the forecast. So I wanted to show the forecast for day, whether it's like it's an afternoon thunderstorm or any. So I'll just print it, and it would be a simple write day forecast. So day forecast, and it should be, because it's not within temperature is a separate dictionary, so it's within day. So instead of temperature, I'll just change this to day and short phrase. So day and short phrase. And just to separate the forecast, so I simple write one, a simple print one. Now let's test it, any error. So I'll just wanted to go for, okay, before that, because the temperature, okay, we remove print, okay, we are not printing any values, so let's test it now. And now let me go for Delhi, because I entered 2 times, so that was showing error. I just rerun the program, and you see weather forecast for this one: 87 in Fahrenheit, 108 in Fahrenheit, 90 in Fahrenheit, 109 in Fahrenheit. That's for, and it will be hot, and for current dates, and it's an afternoon thunderstorm. So like this, we have extracted the data in JSON. We can store that data in a data frame, and we can perform other operations on top of that. So that's how we can integrate Python with any weather app. So in this I have used Accuweather. We can perform integration in same manner with other weather apps as well. So that's all in this video. If you have some queries, you can post your comments in comment box. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.